CBS News chief Washington correspondent and Face the Nation moderator John Dickerson is with us from Washington. John, good morning.
Good morning, Charlie.
What does this mean for Jared Kushner? Because the Washington Post, who first broke the story, CBS has confirmed, and others, they say, the Post says he's not been told that he is not a target of the investigation or a focus of the investigation. What is he?
Well, we don't know because we don't know the full scope of what the FBI has. But what we do know is that he is very, very close to the president, and so he is a wonderful source of information, both on the specific question of Russia and any contacts and collusion with the Trump campaign, but then secondarily on this question of efforts the president may have taken to impede the investigation, which is one of the things being investigated now. He would have had conversations probably with Jared Kushner just because of his proximity. So he is a font of information, even if he himself is not under any kind of pressure for anything he specifically did.
So they're looking from all these contacts for information from him.
Well, yes. I mean, they're looking at specific contacts that he had. And remember, also, what's important is his contacts came after the election, which is quite different than Michael Flynn, who was having contacts with the Russian ambassador before the election took place. So that's one important distinction. But he is just in the inner circle. And anytime in an investigation, you want to talk to people on the inner circle to get information, if nothing else.
Just as they return from the Memorial Day weekend, CBS News is reporting, too, that the president is considering shaking up his communications team, having a team inside the White House and outside of the White House to do messaging to combat these probes. Where does that place them in terms of the focus of what this White House wants to do?
Well, this isn't the first president who thinks that the way things are going is really just a messaging problem and not anything else. This is a very familiar thing with presidents. But the challenge here that is new with this president that is different than previous ones is that it is often the words from the president himself that undermines the messaging capability of the White House, with not only the staff at the White House, but the vice president, his national security advisor. And so that is a problem that cannot be fixed with more hiring. Secondarily, there is a structural issue at the White House, which is that you have many different channels of control and information and people doing what they call end runs in the structure of White Houses. And that can't be fixed by a new messaging team either. It has to be something that's fixed by empowering one person who's not the president and having straight lines of communication. And those are all big challenges.
John, over in Europe, the president berated NATO members for not paying their fair share of defense. Beyond that, it was a series of awkward and unusual interactions. How do you grade that leg of the president's foreign trip?
And yes.
Well, it depends. If it's on stagecraft, there were a few bumpy moments. But, you know, when I spoke to former Secretary of Defense Robert Gates, he said, you know, the president's position on NATO is getting NATO members to focus more on their contributions to NATO than previous presidents, all of whom have tried to get the same thing to happen. And so the tough language that the president uses that irritates NATO members may actually be getting some of the results that he wants.
And let's talk about Montana, the special election there. Not a big surprise that he ended up winning, but was it a lost opportunity for the Democrats?
Well, it was one that Democrats thought they could have a run at. You know, this was a Republican seat to pick up, and you know, this was one in which the early vote was in before the body slamming incident. So Democrats would have liked to have had it, but the thing that this is all really about what's going to happen in 2018, and we always overread these special elections. So this one was crazy for all of its own reasons, but the challenge for Republicans is where their president's approval rating is when we get closer to the 2018 races.
John Dickerson in Washington. John, thanks.